komanso dziko. Maguluwa ndi monga atolankhani achikatolika, anthu ogwira ntchito, atsogoleri a ndale achikatolika, aluso, atumiki a mu mpingo, maanja, anthu achikulire ndi okalamba, mabungwe onse a mu mpingo, anthu aulumali, anthu osauka, amndende, ochita malonda ndi ena ambiri. Mwapadera, mchakachi mukhalanso msonkhano waukulu othandiza anthu kumvetsetsa za Ukaristiya omwe ndi thupi ndi magazi a Ambuye Yesu Khristu. Zina zomwe zikhalenso zikuchitika ndi monga kuyendera malo oyera, mibindikiro, kulandira sakramenti lakulapa, maphunzitso ndi zolankhula zina zauzimu. Choncho mpingo ukupempha ma archdiocese, madiocese, maparish, miphakati, zipani za atumiki, mabungwe ya mu mpingo ndi magulu azachifundo kuti akonzekere bwino ndi kutenga nawo gawo mu zikondwererozi. Mutu wa jubilii imeneyi ndi apaulendo achiyembekezo. Tiyeni tonse tikhale anthu achiyembekezo cha zabwino, pakuti Mulungu sataya wake makamaka ngati tinkhulupirira.
Thank you for choosing Luntha TV. I'm Kathy Matura with the news at this hour, live from the Bishop Navy Media Center here in Lilongwe. First, the headlines. Pope Francis urges Catholics to pray for vocations to priesthood and religious life. President Lazarus Chakwera rejects fuel price increase proposal. Government urges calm amid USA job loss concerns. In global news, Trump proposes resettling Palestinians in neighboring countries. Now the news in detail. Pope Francis has released his prayer intention for the month of February, urging Catholics to pray for young men and women to welcome God's call to the priesthood or religious life. Drawing on his own vocational experience, the Pope recalled that at the age of 17, he had other plans for his life that did not include becoming a priest, but one day he went into the church and God was there waiting for him. Vatican News report read by Charity Chilanga.
The Holy Father recorded that God calls many young people to serve his people through a vocation to the priesthood or religious life. Pope Francis added that the Holy Spirit reveals God's plan for our lives by speaking to the heart of young people. He explained that the task of Catholics is to accompany their spiritual journey so that they will be willing and able to welcome the call to a religious vocation. Concluding, the Pope prayed that the ecclesial community might welcome the desires and doubts of those young people who feel called to live Jesus' mission in life, either through the priestly life or religious life. The Pope video, released by the Pope's Worldwide Prayer Network, depicts scenes from the early life of George Mario Bergoglio, now Pope Francis, along with images from the daily lives of young people today. The effect, according to a press release, is to tie the youth of the future to contemporary young people whom God calls to a priestly or religious vocation in a similar way.
President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera has directed that agencies responsible for fuel supply and procurement in the country must bring in 31 million litres of fuel secured under government-to-government fuel purchase arrangement. In a presidential directive seen by Luntha TV on Tuesday, Chakwera has also rejected 31% upward adjustment of fuel pump prices as proposed by the agencies. At the time of filing this story, National Oil Company of Malawi NOCMA spokesperson Raymond Likambale was yet to respond to our questionnaire. Robert Edward reports.
With fuel dry pumps situation persisting in the country, motorists are in a chance, not choice situation to find the commodity. But fuel supply and procurement agencies wanted to increase the pump prices of fuel with 30%, which would have made petrol to be sold 30% higher than the current 2,530 per litre, so too with diesel, which could have been higher than the 2,700 price. But President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera has rejected the proposal by the agencies and has since instead directed that the agencies resolve their failures to bring 31 million litres of fuel secured under government-to-government arrangement within 48 hours. When we contacted spokesperson for the National Oil Company of Malawi NOCMA, Raymond Likambale, to hear how they were treating the directive less than 24 hours to the expiry of the directive period, we were promised a response after consultations, which was not the case at the time of filing this story. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
Government has said plans are underway to find responsive measures to manage foreign policy changes if the Donald Trump administration decides to uphold them. This move follows looming fears that almost 5,000 jobs would be lost if the United States Agency for International Development USAID, an organization which facilitates America's donations in developing countries, which was frozen by Trump, dies down. Trump said the decision was made in order to pave way for a review. However, Minister of Information Moses Kunkuyu, while accepting that the decision would have a huge impact on the country's economy, has said government would try its level best to implement responsive measures. This is part of what Kunkuyu had to say.
That may also, any job loss is regrettable, and we have students that need to be supported for them to continue with their education. As a government, we have our job creation avenues that we are pursuing. That is the ATM strategy that we are pursuing. If we have a well-commercialized agricultural sector, a well-managed mining sector, a well-managed tourism sector, and as well as sufficient energy in the country, these are drivers of economic boom, and these are avenues for job creation. And we know that any support that comes from outside the country, be it towards creation of jobs or towards the education sector, we have had these ones before, where a project runs for a number of years. At the expiration of that project, people know that those that were hired under that organization, they do become jobless. And the same continues. When other projects come in, people secure new jobs. Our government continues to create opportunities for jobs. The same applies to those that get support from anywhere, be it from individuals or from organizations. When the support has been discontinued, other avenues have to be explored. Government currently is giving loans to students. The loans that have been given to students now are unprecedented, as well as the support towards university scholars is unprecedented. All these are avenues that have been created by government without relying on any support from anywhere. So it is regrettable, it is unfortunate that some jobs could be lost and some opportunities for young people that are going to school will be lost, but government will continue creating opportunities through many other avenues that young people can be assisted.
You're watching News Live on Luntha TV. We take a short break. Stay with us.
you passing through Desert Town and you think of finding a place to rest or just to have some nice food? Always keep this name in your mind. Comfort Lodge. Situated in Airfield at Desert Town. Here at Comfort Lodge, we offer comfortable, affordable, and quality accommodation. The place is located at a very quiet environment that gives you a comfortable and peaceful sleep. We also offer local food such as mademba, masambote ndera, chisoso, ndindo zina za lokolo zambiri. Talking of entertainment, that's not an issue as we have a DSTV for your favorite channels. Tight security, electricity and water backups are all in place just for you dear customers. During this time of COVID-19, we have all measures in place just for your safety. Oh yes, come and taste a different feel of life here at Comfort Lodge in the town. Comfort Lodge. Comfort Lodge, your number one place for affordable and quality accommodation.
Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, you are locked onto news on Luntha TV. But before we proceed, here's a recap of the top stories. Pope Francis urges Catholics to pray for vocations to priesthood and religious life. President Lazarus Chakwera rejects fuel price increase proposal. Government urges calm amid USA job loss concerns. In global news, Trump proposes resettling Palestinians in neighboring countries. Moving on, the non-governmental organization Regulatory Authority Ngora has announced that 965 non-governmental organizations in Malawi are at risk of deregistration for failing to meet necessary requirements. This move comes after Ngora revealed that out of 1,132 NGOs, only 167 have been licensed. According to the Chief Executive Officer Edward Chileka Banda, Ngora's primary duty is to ensure that all NGOs operating in the country adhere to the required standards and regulations. To this end, the authority has set a deadline of March 1, 2025 for all NGOs to complete their registration and submit reports on their activities. Our Emmanuel Chiwocha reports.
Registration requirement promote transparency and accountability in the management of resources intended for Malawians. He noted that in 2024, at least 649 NGOs provided reports indicating that 734 billion kwacha was mobilized and utilized by these organizations.
It is important for NGOs to report, to operate legally, because the NGOs operate on the behalf of the people of Malawi. They mobilize resources for the people of Malawi. And we consider them as key stakeholders in pushing Malawi to greater heights. But that can only happen within prescribed legal framework, that NGOs need to be registered to operate. They also need to report their work. And for NGOs that are yet to get a valid license for 2025. The deadline for that is 1st March 2025. They are required to comply with that. Our intentions and our expectation is that NGOs will definitely take this notice seriously, because we do not want to appear to be punitive to the operations of NGOs. They already know that it is important for them to operate legally by registration as well as by reporting their work.
Ngola has warned that unauthorized NGOs that continues to operate beyond the deadline will face legal actions. This crackdown on unlicensed NGOs is aimed at ensuring that all organizations operating in the country meet required standards and are accountable for their actions. The move has significant implications for the NGO sector in Malawi, with many organizations facing the risk of deregistration if they fail to comply with the requirements. For Luntha News, this is Emmanuel Chiwocha.
Minister of Trade and Industry Sostin Gwengwe praised savings and credit cooperative SACCOs for their vital role in fostering economic growth in Malawi through member engagement in savings and borrowing. Gwengwe says SACCOs contribute significantly to financial inclusion, allowing more Malawians to participate in the economy, thereby enhancing financial security at the household level, providing stability for families. The minister visited the Malawi Police SACCO to assess progress and discuss future plans, but also in anticipation of a regional meeting for SACCOs in Southern Africa scheduled for next week in Luntha. He explains more.
So the financial cooperatives in specific, we are working with Reserve Bank of Malawi to simplify the regulatory regime for such SACCOs, because sometimes when institutions as small as SACCOs come up, they need some hand-holding, and we cannot have blanket regulations which apply to big Main Street banks and then also expect to apply the same to smaller SACCOs, because they will never grow. So we're working with RBM to make sure that as we move towards financial inclusion and have everybody else banked, we would want to also look at the regulations and see if we can have a simplified regime for smaller SACCOs. So access to finance is always a challenge. People have ideas, people are hardworking, and all they need sometimes is the hand-holding financially to put their ideas, to put their hard work into action. And you've seen that SACCOs, even the Malawi Police SACCO, has helped a lot of farmers, has helped a lot of SMEs do some businesses, and all that is thanks to initiatives like the one we have at Malawi Police SACCO.
Malawi Police SACCO Chief Executive Officer Ian Mwalungira noted the rapid growth of these cooperatives, expanding access to economic services, adding that their involvement in SACCOs promote economic independence among members, allowing them to better manage finances. He explains more.
The government has a vision of 2063 agenda. And one of the enablers in the 2063 agenda is the financial inclusion aspect and access to financial services. So the government is trying to create vibrant financial institutions so that people are able to access financing for self-reliance initiatives. One of it would be we offer loans to our members, so as long as our members are able to access, for example, agriculture loans, it means they are contributing to the government's agenda of 2063. Not only that, the current budget, if you have seen it, the 2024 to 2025 financial budget, there is a strategy called the ATM. So the people who supply meat in the tourism industry, they borrow from the SACCO, and then they go buy goats. That's the tourism part is being enhanced. Again, the farmers themselves, they are into the agriculture. So we are almost cutting across together with the government in a number of areas of interventions that the government.
In global news, U.S. President Donald Trump says he is planning to have Gaza and develop it economically after Palestinians are settled somewhere. Trump unveiled his plan without providing specifics on Tuesday on a press conference with visiting Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump plans to resettle more than 2 million Palestinians from Gaza to neighboring countries. We have this report from Reuters, read by Rashida Matandika in our studios.
On Tuesday, Trump announced the resettlement of Palestinians from Gaza to neighboring countries permanently. His proposal has raised questions on whether the Middle East power Saudi Arabia would be willing to join a renewed U.S.-brokered push for a historic normalization of relations with Israel. He has promised to own it and be responsible for dismantling of all the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site. Trump is also optimistic of developing Gaza and creating thousands and thousands. Trump is also optimistic of developing Gaza and creating thousands of jobs to make it different. Asked who would live there, Trump said it could become a home to the world's people. However, Jonathan Pankoff, former deputy U.S. National Intelligence Officer for the Near East, said Trump's plan would mean a lengthy U.S. military commitment, and if it came to fruition, would be viewed by the Arab world as Washington not learning its lessons from nation building in Iraq and Afghanistan.
That Trump's Gaza takeover plan, Reuters report, read by Rashida Matandika, marks the end of this bulletin. But before I go, here is a recap of news making the headlines. Pope Francis urges Catholics to pray for vocations to priesthood and religious life. President Lazarus Chakwera rejects fuel price increase proposal. Government urges calm amid USA job loss concerns. In global news, Trump proposes resettling Palestinians in neighboring countries. It's been a pleasure bringing the news to your screens at this hour. Let us remember to pray for peace and understanding in our world. From all of us here at Luntha TV, thank you for always choosing us. I'm Kathy Matura. Goodbye for now.